Hi everyone, welcome to Every Day is a Woman's Day virtual event proudly brought to you by PFPFA. My name is Evangeline and I'm delighted to be your MC this afternoon. I hope you are all set and ready for a fruitful afternoon because we do have a lineup of exciting program waiting for you and you get to learn as well as win. Talking about winning, we do have a lucky draw that consists of 3 different prizes, and our third prize is none other than a Sephora gift card worth $100, and our second prize is a Lululemon gift card worth $200, and our top prize for the day is none other than a couple spa paradise 90 minutes at Goodwood Park Orchard worth $328. And all you need to do right now is to scan the following QR code right here and participate in our lucky draw. And this lucky draw QR code will be there all the way till 2:45 p.m. So please remember to scan it and take part in it so that we can include your name into the draw. And who knows, you might just be the lucky person that I'll be calling out at the end of the day. And we'll be starting off the show with none other than Dr. Martha Lee, who is a sexologist. And I'm sure right now in common days, couples do face issues, or rather, I should say, sometimes we result in quiet quit. So what does quiet quit means in a relationship? I shall now hand the time over to Dr. Martha to share with us more. Dr. Martha, the time is yours.
Thank you very much. So welcome everybody. This is the second time that I'm presenting. So yes, today I'll be talking about quiet quit. You may have heard of quiet quit in the context of work. Today I'm going to talk about quiet quit in the context of relationship. So a little bit about myself. I am a relationship counselor, clinical sexologist. I've been practiced for since 2009, so almost 15 years. So yes, today we'll talk about quiet quit and how it's linked to conflict, how to resolve conflict, how to manage, resolve them, how this is linked to trust, and what you can do about it. So when it comes to quiet quit, driven by real resignations, quiet quitting is really a boundary for people who feel that they've had enough, but they don't really want to quit. So they basically just do less, opt out of tasks, become less mentally invested in work, and just fulfill the bare minimum. So essentially, they're putting themselves first. They are less willing to engage in non-mandatory meetings. They don't want to stay late. They don't want to show up early. So it's considered healthy when it comes to that. But when it comes to relationships, it's usually a warning sign. This is because when you do this in your relationship as if it's a boundary thing, whereas it's good when it comes to work. However, when you are basically self-protecting yourself, it becomes toxic. You keep your identity away from your partner, you will have less satisfaction, and your partner will also feel something is up and lose trust. So quiet quitting is not the same as ghosting. So in ghosting, you simply just vanish. You disappear, you ignore their texts, their calls, or even block them. But when you quiet quit a relationship, you are around, but with limits. And these limits, you decided the limits. So it's slow and progressive disengagement, which not resolved, will slowly but completely erode the emotional tie that bonds your relationship together. So it's a surefire way of eventually ending the relationship, or definitely relationship dissatisfaction. A lot of the clients that I work with, they feel that they have to stay in the relationship, usually for the sake of their kids, or maybe even I've had clients who stay because they are afraid of disappointing their parents or parents-in-law. So think about, is there a possibility that you might be quite quitting without even realizing? So yes, clients that I work with, they are checked out. It's very common. And this is because they feel for whatever reason it's difficult or impossible to face the problems head on. So they just try to sweep it under the carpet, ignore it, suppress their desires. So these are some signs if you're still not sure. The first one is if you're worried, if you're worried about or believe that your partner thinks that you're quiet quitting, this is probably a sign, okay? The second one is, could there be a lack of physical, mental attention? including you don't really want to touch or be touched. It can involve avoiding asking or answering questions, daydreaming, wishing that you were somewhere else, and just basically reducing any contact with your partner whatsoever. Maybe your partner is the one who wants to spend as little time as possible with you. So these are all signs to look out for. So a relationship is energetic. If you are feeling a certain way, they will actually respond in a similar way. So you can be looking at them and blaming them for their behavior, but actually it started from you. So this is why I wrote that in. So how about commitment? Stay together because of commitment constraints. Okay, there's some typo here. Okay, what happens is that they want to leave, but they cannot just yet because kids are not grown or they are waiting for a promotion. But eventually they are hoping that as time goes by, it will get better. So this is basically, you can call it an emotional divorce. You haven't started the divorce, but emotionally you are already separating and distancing yourself from your partner. So this kind of passive aggressive or coasting kind of behavior can only lead to a downward spiral to completely disconnection. So not divorce, but actually already more or less like divorce. So it's not just the physical leaving the relationship, emotionally also leaving the relationship, checking out. So like I mentioned, the partner will also match you because it's energetic. So what you can do, if you realize that this is what's happening with you, you may want to bring it up to your partner and let them know that a relationship is a two-way street. Even though you don't want to talk about it, but it can actually be less hurtful over time. Or if you want, you can go to counseling or couples therapy by yourself or without your partner to actually talk about what's going on your side. So let's talk about conflict, because the reason why a lot of people quit is because there is conflict and it just builds up and it feels insurmountable, it's too much. So just know that in our culture, we don't like conflict, and some people are conflict avoidant, but actually conflict is a normal part of any healthy relationship. You cannot expect two parties to agree on everything all the time. So we are so afraid of conflict that we don't speak up. So this can also be detrimental. So it's normal. However, it's more than just disagreeing on something. It's when you perceive a threat, whether this threat is real. So like the threat of a fight, threat of them stonewalling you, threat of them withholding affection or withholding sex. So you feel threatened, and that's why we don't really speak up. However, they will continue. The conflict doesn't get resolved if you don't address it. So the threats will affect our well-being and survival. We feel scared, walking on eggshells, and they will stay with us until we face and resolve them. So a lot of my clients, they talk about their unhappiness, they talk and talk and talk about it, but they may not actually take steps to resolve it. It's really important to resolve conflicts. So the things you need to notice when it comes to conflict is, first, okay, you are feeling triggered, you are feeling upset, you are feeling stressed, you are starting to feel nervous or scared. So it's really important to notice, okay, this is what I'm feeling. So how can you calm yourself down, stay centered and in control of yourself? So one of the most simple way is to do self-soothing, use affirmations to really overcome our natural tendencies of fight, flight, freeze, or disconnect. So you also need to be aware, this is what you're feeling. So I'm feeling this, I want to release this stress and also be aware of it. So when you're aware of it, it helps you to understand yourself. It helps you to also develop more ability to understand other people. It helps you to stay motivated until the conflict is resolved, meaning like, this is what you're feeling. So what can I do to make myself feel better? When you're aware of what you're feeling, you're more in control. You can communicate clearly and effectively, interest and influence others. So some of the things that can happen when conflict arises and we feel like we're walking on eggshells around people in our life. Why? Because we are scared. We want to just do what they tell us to do. So we keep quiet. We avoid their frustration, or we just want to soothe them and make them feel better. Then we feel guilty because we cause them to feel upset, or we feel guilty that they are upset. And then we just basically keep quiet because we don't want them to make things worse. We don't want them to say these kind of things. We already know what they're going to say, basically, in a long-term relationship. These kinds of behavior already keep happening. So before they say, you already know what they're going to say. So this is why you already like feel that, okay, then don't say. So this leads to quiet quitting. So these are some ways in which trust can be broken in a relationship besides conflict happening. These are all the little things that starts to build up and builds up resentment and frustration that leads to people wanting to quiet quit. Partner not showing up, not making you a priority, not being there when you need them, especially when you're hurt or sick, not keeping to their promises, keeping secrets, lying, humiliating, putting you down, saying you are no good in front of people, and in front of the kids, and also privately. Also infidelity, okay? Being physically violent, that's another point. Okay, so what are healthy and unhealthy way of resolving conflicts? Y'all can have a think about this. Unhealthy, inability to recognize, respond to things that matter, basically dismissing you. Violence, angry, hurtful, resentment reactions, withdrawing love, cannot compromise, don't want to see your side of things, feeling fearful, avoiding conflict, expecting a bad outcome. So these are some things that people always say, like walking on eggshells. When it comes to healthy, they will try to empathize with you. They remain calm, not being defensive. They want to hear your side of things. Above and all else, they don't do name calling and all these things. They always stay respectful. They are willing to forgive and forget, willing to move on. They don't want to hold on to it because they see the bigger picture, which is this is a long-term relationship. They are able to want to compromise and avoid punishing you for what is said, and they want to face it head on. Okay, so sometimes with conflict, you don't have to face it there and then, but definitely eventually you want to talk about it and address it. So compassionate boundaries, a lot of us think boundaries is a bad thing, but compassionate boundaries are not me against you. It's not you are bad, I push you away. It's really you are standing up for yourself and you don't allow the person to bully you. So you can say things like, I have compassion for why you may feel to raise your voice. This is common in your family, you understand, but it doesn't meet my need. So if you want to be in a relationship where you do these things, you are still a good person, but I just don't feel close to me. So this is for me. So speaking up and saying that you will not put up with this raising of voice anymore. So it's like learning a new language, speaking up for yourself. So instead of running away, instead of shouting and screaming, learning how to speak up and assert yourself. So this is something that is not learned behavior for a lot of us because we may not have this modeling with our parents, with our family of origin. But it's really important because when we model this kind of behavior, we are also showing our partner how they can be. So these are some natural responses, like when people fight. Okay, so there's a conflict, then you fight with this person, then fight usually lead to argument, so basically head on. And then after that, there's resentment, and then you feel criticized, you continue this behavior. When it comes to flight, people who have a flight tendency, they want to run away from it, but maybe cannot run away. So instead, they just stand there like a wall. They just let it happen, but because they want to, but they cannot run away, or they want to run away, then they run away. Freeze people, okay, they don't know what to say. They go numb. They feel like they're stuck. They feel immobile, but actually this numbness, like the whole body feels numb, frozen. The throat actually feels frozen. The words feel stuck in the throat. The words cannot come out. So I just covered a few. Fight. People who tendency, you fight me, I fight you back. You loud, I loud. Flight. People who can't deal with it. It's too much. They want to run away. Freeze. People become paralyzed. They cannot go anywhere. So of these three, is there any that is you? Or maybe it's the fourth one, which is disassociate. So people who are disassociating, they are there, but they don't want to be there. So they try to imagine they're somewhere else. So sometimes they describe like an out-of-body experience. then because they're not really there, they actually forget. They don't know what happened. They don't want to think about it. So literally because they forget, so they cannot remember. So even if they try, they cannot remember what happened. So these people are there, but not really there. So which one do you think you are of the four? Fight, flight, freeze, or disassociate? So it's good to know your natural tendencies, because these are tendencies that tend to happen whenever you feel triggered, whenever you feel scared. And knowing your tendencies can allow you to take small steps towards overcoming it. Okay, another one, placate. So placate is also known as fonding, meaning you soothe the person, you try to take care of the person, okay, and make sure that they are okay. So instead of you taking care of yourself, you feel very much you must take care of the other person. So here are some reflection questions. What do you think is your conflict style? What do you think is your boss's conflict style? How about your partner's conflict style? So it's good to think about it, because then you can adapt your style to better relate with them. So depending on different kind of people in your life, how will you deal with these people with the different conflict styles? And how might you grow yourself when it comes to dealing with people of different conflict styles in your life? So there are so many things nowadays on YouTube and you can even use AI to actually help you to grow yourself if your tendency is fight, flight, freeze, disassociate, or fawn. Also, just now I mentioned emotional awareness. When you feel triggered, when you feel scared, when you feel mad, when you feel that you reach a point where you cannot control yourself anymore, it's really important to look at on a scale of 1 to 10, okay, 0 to infinity, or 1 to 10, these are the different emotions that I might feel. So at what point, at where am I at before I cannot control myself? So being able to just start noticing, okay, I tend to be here, okay, if the person say this 3 times, then I cannot take it anymore, then usually that's when I burst. So it's really important to notice this. So there's your emotions, and there's your partner's emotion. So is there a time in which you can speak without allowing your partner to let a word in? So how much time do you need to speak? So you see there's your emotion happening, and then there's your partner's emotion happening. So when we fight, we get emotional and we don't want to let the person talk. So it's really important to share the stage. It's okay to say, let me finish, and then you can share what you want to share. And also when you share, literally, like, still be aware that you don't start going into so emotional, so that you start shouting and screaming at each other. Actually, it's not productive, but we keep these tendencies because we feel justified in our emotions. Our emotions build up, and then we feel justified. But actually, any kind of screaming, any kind of violence cannot be justified, because the means, the screaming and shouting, doesn't justify the end, breaking down the relationship. So learning that, yes, I don't want to quiet quit. I want to resolve conflict. I want to speak up. I want to regulate my emotions. I want to notice what are my tendencies, whether it's fight, flight, freeze, disassociate, or fawn, and then what I can do about it is very important. So this is a slide that I created through my years of working with clients. So these are my fight fair tips. First one being, it's really important when you're with your partner to actually talk one topic at one time, because sometimes we go on and on. Okay, this topic finished, go to the next one, and then what happens is they get emotionally tired, and so they actually have an outburst. So it's really important in your mind, just decide, okay, we talk this topic, and then arrange a safe space, meaning like the kids are not around, or you won't be interrupted, or maybe the partner have this tendency to shout. So maybe you might even want to settle this in a cafe outdoors, for instance, and then have an agreement, no violence, no name calling, no like eye roll, all this passive aggressive, and then schedule the time. So say, okay, let's talk about this half an hour. So after half an hour, if it's still not resolved, then you can always table it for the next time. Make sure it's uninterrupted, and make sure both of you actually have equal time to speak. Usually the person who can speak more, the person who's more articulate, they tend to dominate the conversation. So it's really important, if you need 10 minutes to speak, then you give your partner also 10 minutes. So if the partner cannot finish the 10 minutes, it's okay, just sit there quietly and just wait for the 10 minutes to be over, because you'll be surprised. The one who doesn't talk as much sometimes actually need more breathing space to let everything come out. So you need to actually give them the time. So don't just talk, my turn, your turn, don't just do that, but actually also focus on the way forward, focus on the way forward. So talk about, okay, we have spoken already, so what do we want to do? Can we brainstorm? Can we choose one thing that we will try? And then the way you do the conversation is you talk about what happened, how you felt, and then what you want way forward. Okay, you can, when it gets too heated, you can ask for a timeout. You can ask for a timeout, meaning it's getting too heated. Can we postpone? Can we take a 5-minute break? So you can postpone. Okay, focus on resolution. And I mentioned actually when y'all want to discuss sensitive subjects, it's really important to differentiate between facts. This is what happened. This is how I felt. And this is how I felt. And then this is my opinion. This is what I think. So what happened is a fact, how you feel, and then your opinion. So differentiate between them, okay? Because there are so many people that I know of, based on what happened, they already decided this person was being selfish, and then start to attack the person when in reality that was more their interpretation than anything. So apology language. Okay, so apologize, not just say sorry, okay, although it starts by saying sorry, and then sorry, so what? So take responsibility and say what you did wrong, what you're going to do to make it better, and then actually be very specific how things will change, and then request forgiveness. Can you let that go? Because sorry already doesn't mean they accept, so then ask them to accept. So these are the 5 steps to apology language. If you want, I can send you all the slides afterwards, okay? Or you can email me. So once again, 4 ways to manage a conflict. When it comes to workplace, okay, don't go it alone. You may want to involve your manager or HR. When it comes to managing conflict in relationships, okay, please don't go around and tell the whole world. Don't tell the father, mother, grandmother, all these things, okay? Sometimes the embarrassment makes it really bad. So what you can consider is going for counseling, for instance. Listen to your partner actively, okay? Don't interrupt. You see, when you interrupt someone, they feel that they have not finished saying what they really want to say, and then they go back and try to repeat themselves so that they can finish their initial thought that they never finish. So this is the reason why people keep repeating themselves again and again. It's like the brain is trying to process it. So the talking and processing can be difficult for some people. But when you interrupt them, you short circuit the processing, and then they go back and try to rewind it again, like play out again. So this is the reason why people keep having the same fights, because they keep getting interrupted, but actually listen fully without interruption is very, very important. Okay, and don't leave emotions out of the equation. Sometimes we just talk from the head, like you like this, you like this, you like this. We start talking from head space, of being very logical. But don't forget, we are emotional beings, so we do need to involve emotions as well. Meaning when we can connect with each other emotionally, we don't see each other as enemy anymore, and they can also open up their feelings about the conflict. So not just in the workplace, but also in your relationship. So what are the differences? So differences doesn't mean it's bad. Differences in relationship doesn't mean it's bad. Doesn't mean that you're not meant to be. In relationships, there are differences. So how can you turn your differences into strengths? So being able to really look at everything very logically, writing it down, tabling it, and then being able to really acknowledge each other's strengths, and then work at it. Maybe divide up the role. You handle this part, I handle this part. Okay, so of course we always keep talking about win-win situation where both parties are happy, whether it comes to payment, the person giving payment and the person receiving payment, wherever they're happy with the agreement. But win-win situation in a lot of cases in personal relationship, sometimes it's a compromise. So let's say, for instance, one person want to eat rice, one person want to eat noodles. So then both of you just don't eat. Okay, that's not a win-win situation. Or one person want rice, one people want noodles, and then you all eat half-half. So then in the end, what happens is both of you are actually not really happy when it comes to compromise. So how about letting your partner win and then you lose? So for instance, okay, this time we do it your way, next time we do it my way. So sometimes compromise doesn't mean we both lose, or like take one step back, because actually that one step back, the compromise, sometimes is still a lose-lose for both parties. So really talk through about what is considered win-win, and what would make each of you happy. I think it's okay to compromise in a relationship, but I don't think it's okay to compromise all the time, every single time. So it's really important to take turns and to speak up. So here I have summarized this article that I actually wrote for honeycombers. So I wrote, like, for instance, what happens, what you can do in situations of humiliation, negating, and criticism. Your partner is criticizing you, embarrassing you. So you can call them out. You can set concrete boundaries, which I started to mention. And if it persists, you can document it. Document it, not to attack the person, but for your self-awareness, to see when this happens, this is what they say. And they tend to say this all the time. So you start to become aware. Okay, and then you can then, based on that, discuss, I noticed that the last 5 times you tend to do this. So now you have concrete evidence, but you don't need to show it in their, put it in front of them, but you can just kind of let them know and make sure when you do that, you're not being destructive, you are being constructive. You are trying to talk about how to make things better. If all else fails, because they keep doing this, and then you are actually noticing a pattern, so then I suggest you go for marriage or couples counseling. Okay, the next one is what happens is your partner is controlling and shaming you. So you can also, you can go by yourself and go to a safe space to talk about it and assess your situation. So safe space can be a friend, a trusted friend. It can be a counselor. Okay, when they are blaming and denying everything, always your fault. Okay, so don't blame yourself. Don't feel you have to take responsibility for everything. So build yourself up mentally, get emotional support. You can ask your friend, is it true that I'm really like this? You can go to a counselor instead of trying to figure yourself out all the time. So what happens if your partner is the one who's quiet quitting, who is neglecting you, who's isolating themselves? So you find yourself in this relationship. Learn how to love yourself, fill up your own tank, whether it's a job, whether hobbies, interests. Learn to make yourself a priority. Learn to love yourself and don't expect people to be the one to always love you. Love yourself first, fill yourself up. And maybe the neediness was the one that was pushing your partner away. You don't know. So focus on yourself, change your energy, get support from friends, get stronger. Okay, get stronger first before talking about anything else. So these are the things that I've covered, the resources. These are my books. You can check out my website. So yeah, I'm open to questions. Anybody has any questions? Yeah, I just want to thank all of you for coming. Yeah, feel free to let me know if you have any questions. You can type in the chat box, or you can just, I guess, unmute yourself.
All right, looks like it is a fruitful session from Dr. Martha. Thank you so much, Dr. Martha. I think that your presentation has been so good that everyone understood and probably no questions there. But of course, if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to Dr. Martha. You can contact her. You can just search her on Google and you know where to locate her. And after which, I think it is time to get our hands busy because today we do have Chef Dylan in the house and he's here to share with us more about what to do with our leftover ingredients in the fridge. So let's head on over to find out more from Dr. Dylan. Oh, Dr. Dylan, no, I should say Chef Dylan.
I would love to be a doctor as well, you know.
I am
Right.
doctor in cooking, yes.
Yeah, yes.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
No, thank you for having me.
Okay, so Chef Dylan, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, basically, I run a restaurant. I'm a chef myself. I've been cooking for about close to 16 years. And I do a lot of French food. I love French food, but, you know, being Asian, you know, being surrounded by the diversity of which our food can be, you know, so diverse. I'm also a big fan of Asian food. So I cook both in many types of food, regardless. So today we're going to talk a little bit about what I do for leftovers, which is super interesting.
Right, and I have to add on is that, you know, we are all in for a big treat because most of the time when I visit Chef Dylan at his restaurant, which is the Masses, they serve fantastic French fusion food. And my favorite has to be that purple cabbage as your appetizer.
Yeah, I love it
you know,
too.
those are so classic. And this is the very first time that we are having him in the studio to guide us through what to do with our leftover ingredients in the fridge because I think it is very rare that we get chef to prepare like home cooked food unless we are your family.
To some extent, yeah.
So do you cook a lot at home?
I do, like, you know, we talk about leftovers is something really like kind of like speaks to my heart because, you know, being at work, we work very long hours.
Yep.
And at times when you go back, you know, when you scrape through the fridge and what you have is just that whichever there. Then, I mean, being chef is a little bit different. Is that we kind of like, we can put pieces together very easily.
That's true.
Because, you know, having that experience, so we'll just take that to that and it will become a meal.
Mm.
But it's needed so much because for us, you know, like I said, you go back, is the comfort food of Maggi mee, example.
That's
but we pimp up our Maggi mee, right?
Ooh,
Yeah, like
okay.
some of the things like we do is like we even noodles or leftover from yesterday, we will kind of like pimp it up a little bit.
Mm.
So yeah, that's the perks of being a chef, should I say?
Okay, and
Yeah.
you know, talking about leftover ingredients,
Right.
I don't know about you guys watching, but some of the common ingredients that I see
Yeah.
a lot in my fridge as leftover
Yeah,
will be rice,
Yes, definitely.
because we can make good fried rice with it.
Yeah.
Probably sometimes chicken,
Yeah.
maybe like some veg,
Mm.
and a lot of condiments like onions or garlic. But those,
Yeah.
I think, as and when we can always
Yes,
use
definitely.
it,
These,
right?
these are like the essentials or the necessity that you usually have at your fridge. If you don't really have, I think you can switch it off and don't follow this section because you probably don't cook at all.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Okay, so today we are diving into 2 leftover ingredients in the
Yes,
fridge.
correct.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
I think, firstly, I think for all families, Asian families or even non-Asian families, right? I think one of the key ingredients that we usually have them, which is rice itself, right? So I think there's a lot of rice can be put up to it. It can be Japanese short grain rice, your basmati rice, or even up to your jasmine rice.
Okay.
Or even in some extent, people would like to eat more on like multi-grain rice or
True.
even couscous and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So all this makes up like what we call it like in the grains factor. So that's one that we usually would have. Then the other one, just now you're talking about chicken, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, for us chef, I mean, sometimes when we go home, the only thing that we really crave for is really a good bowl of soup. Because they say, as they say, you know, soup warms the soul. So
That's true.
so whenever we cook soup, and many times we have a lot of leftovers on the scrapes, whether it's like vegetables, but most of the time we would use chicken, we would use, you know, various part of the meat, you know, to make broth. Then from then onwards, what do we do with it? We generally would either when we have pets, we feed our pets the good stuff, right? But if not, what we would do, we just chuck it away. Yeah.
Okay. And rice, what kind of rice do you have for us today?
So I mean, I have a little bit of, I would say, a Taiwanese short grain rice.
Taiwanese
Yeah.
short grain rice.
Yeah, but don't be intimidated by it. I'm not asking you to buy short grain rice right after, but you can straight away use your jasmine rice, your typical jasmine rice, Thai rice, you know, with that. Yeah, it can be done as well.
Okay. That is for rice.
That is for rice.
And for chicken.
For chicken, it's really from the market or even from whichever hypermarket that you are buying from. Or some, I mean, for those who are at home, or sometimes it's really hard to go to market. So what we will do that we'll get some frozen chicken. We'll put them at the back of our fridge and make soup. I think that's fine as well. You know, being family, I think it's sometimes these are little things where it's hard for us to go out the stretch to get it right. I think we would keep things that are more convenient.
Okay.
Yeah, so the chicken is, I got it from hypermarket. This is what my helper cook.
Okay.
So these are the leftover chicken that I'm gonna use.
Okay. Typically, when I see these 2 ingredients that are
Right.
left over, right?
Right.
What I will do,
Yeah, what will you do?
I'm just going to get a pot of water, put my rice in it,
Yeah.
and make a good chicken porridge.
Okay,
So
yeah.
that is a very Chinese kind
Okay.
of style. But I see that today you have prepared like baked beans,
Yeah,
corns,
yeah.
capsicums, tomatoes,
Yes, yes,
avocados. My goodness, this is
Yeah.
gonna get so fancy. So you have 2 recipes in your pocket for us.
Yeah, on the
What
side
can
of it
we
that I'm gonna
choose?
pick.
What can we choose
Yeah.
from? Okay.
Okay, so we have 2. I think one of it for rice, like what Evangeline said. I mean, chicken and porridge, which is the easiest thing to do. And I think that this you have to ask her for a recipe, not me. You know. So, but for myself, for the chicken itself, we're gonna like, because sometimes when we as family, maybe we wanted to cook, and maybe on our weekdays we don't really have time. But when we only do it, we'll do it on the weekend, right? And weekend Sunday is the best time to cook for your kids, for your loved ones, and etc. So, but for me, it's like when we have a little bit of leftovers. So what I'll do, I'll turn it into sort of like a breakfast kind of like a dish.
Wow.
Yeah. So we talk about hash. Hash is more sort of, you know, it's very breakfasty. You know, and one extent we take a little bit of chicken. It can be chicken. It can be the leftover beef particles that you have, it can be even to not just chicken, it can be lamb or anything else. Yeah, so I'm using that to make a hash. And of
Okay.
course, crack a little bit of egg. This is super easy. I think it will take less than 10 minutes to cook.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
Now,
it's
that's for me.
fast
That's for
free
me.
as
That's
well,
for me.
right?
For you, I think it'll take 12 minutes. Yeah.
Don't underestimate
Yeah, yeah,
our
you
viewers,
never know,
okay?
you
Maybe
never
they
know.
take 8 minutes, we don't know as
If
well.
you got if you got Thermomix at home, I think it will take 5 minutes.
Ooh, okay, so
Yeah.
it sounds very easy, but
Super
the name
easy.
sounds fancy.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we have a chicken potato hash that you have
Correct.
in stock.
Correct.
Okay, what about the rice?
Okay, the rice itself, I think where my whole setup is today, I think what I wanted to do is that I wanted to make sure, like, as if sometimes when you're at home, the part about cooking scares you, because when I'm gonna say that I'm gonna use an oven.
Uh-huh.
After the oven, you're gonna deep fry it. And after
Okay.
deep fry, you're gonna boil.
Right.
And when you have that sort of so-called different steps, it can't put people off. And I also want to cook because like there's so many steps to it. So what I'm gonna do is just basically a single pan, a single stove, to work out all these little things together.
So
And
it can
yeah.
minimize your washing as well.
Yeah, minimize your washing. I think that's another pin in the, beep. Yeah, so we try not to do that.
So
too
most
much.
of the time, I think when we look into such stuff, we just want it to be quick,
Yes,
tasty,
precisely.
and of course, if we can add a little flavor of home cook in it, that will warm also, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so let's get
definitely,
started.
definitely.
What are you
Okay.
going to start with?
I think what we're gonna do with is I will start off with the chicken hash.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just gonna put on my glove first. Sorry about that.
Should I
Okay.
be nasty to say let's have a stopwatch to see whether Chef Dylan does it in 10 minutes?
If I can do it in 8 minutes, but you won't learn anything because it's so fast.
Okay, put on your gloves.
Ah.
Okay, so for just chicken, it's kind of
Right.
like those chicken rice chicken, that steamed chicken, right?
No, this one we make into a soup. So I
Soup,
need,
oh.
I think for us, at home we make like ABC soup or maybe whatever soup that you had in mind or whatsoever, just to make a broth.
Okay.
So at home, my helper is very much well trained, so she will make broth,
I'm sure.
freeze it. Then after that, with the script over, after this show, she will put it into better use.
Okay.
Yeah. So most of the time we throw it away. But I mean, of course, for me, she will leave it so that I can use it, right?
Right.
So over here we have the chicken, like you see, all being cooked down and everything. You can come it to a point where there is even chicken feet. I mean, why I say chicken feet? Because like all these like collagens that's coming
You
through,
don't
all
wanna
this
waste
gelatin,
it.
all this skin, right? You don't want to waste it because why? Because so much flavors that comes from
Wow,
it.
okay.
Right. Then of course, good skin. When you had that in the hash, you will probably get a little bit of flavors, because when they say when you have a little bit of fat, it adds more flavor to a dish.
True that. True
Yeah,
that.
so what we do is very simple. Like over here, you see what I'm doing? I'm just basically just scraping them out. All this generally after cook ready, you will find that the flavors are very much very, very minimum, because all goes into your soup, right? So, but I think sometimes we've forgotten the fact that, the chicken still tasty. It's still tasty after if you were to add a little bit of flavoring inside, and I think that's fine.
Even
Yeah.
from where I'm standing right now, even
Yeah.
before Chef Dylan has started cooking, right?
Right.
The chicken itself already smells so good that I want to eat.
Yeah, that's why chicken itself, I think, is very universal,
Yeah.
very easy to use. So you see, like I'm doing now, I'm just scraping all the leftover parts. Then of course, I'll use, like this, for example, it's, just to say it's the head itself. So the head itself, where do you like use it? I think what I'll do is that it's along
The
the neck
skin?
here.
Ooh.
Yeah, I see along the neck where you get all these little nice small little parts that we kind of like sometimes forgotten about it.
Because generally we'll just throw the head away.
Generally, we
right?
will throw the head away. Yeah. So, but of course, up to the extent of the head, sometimes you have all these little things. Of course, we are not trying to say we don't eat the brain and all that. These are the ones that you throw away, right?
Yeah.
But the ones I said, anything slightly below the head, what we will do, we'll keep them. So, of course, like I said, here, chicken feet, add a little bit of collagen in there, so that makes your skins feel a little bit,
Smoother,
yeah,
softer,
softer.
the
Okay.
natural collagen. Okay.
Yeah, so then you see so fast, right? So we have all this here. Some of the ingredients I'm gonna use, is basically the chicken. Then of course we'll take a little bit of onion, a little bit of garlic.
Okay.
If you want for flavoring, right? If not, then that's fine. Then the other one that we will have is basically potato, which is hash itself, right? So we'll have potato over here that I'll slowly show you to dice it up. Then from that being said, we will kind of like start cooking it already.
Okay.
A little bit of herbs if you have. like I would say some rosemary or thyme, parsley, or whichever. But I think that, you know, just small little tips, like if you're wanting to do all these things, sometimes it's really tough to go and buy herbs because herbs at times I feel it's overly costly when you're buying it at the hypermarket.
Yep.
But a good way is that you can grow your own. Like thyme, you can grow rosemary, and you know, at home, super easy, off the backyard. I mean, off your, you know, your corridor, pluck a little bit. Then yeah, you can just use it and cook.
As and when.
As and when,
As and
because
when.
sometimes you want to get all this, but you know that it will wither away, you know, after a while and etc. Okay, so you will dry up. So okay, here we go.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
You know, I see they use like small purplish onions.
Okay, this
out there in the market, there are like white big onions,
Right.
and then you have your big purple onions. Will that be a difference to both this kind of onions for this dish?
Okay, I think one fact why I'm using small onion, you know, my intention is that firstly, you know, small onions, sometimes we call it about shallots, call them shallots.
Yep.
At home, you may have them. White onion or yellow onion, sometimes for us, maybe some Asian families, they don't really have them. Or sometimes you can even use, we call it the Bombay onion.
Bombay onions.
Yeah, or
okay.
in other words, red onion, which is pretty huge kind. Those red kind.
Yep.
Yeah, you can use that as well. So I'm giving an equivalent of, in terms of flavor wise, I would say shallots, of course, it's a little bit sweeter.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna just simply
Chop it.
dice them up. Okay, super easy. Not gonna like,
Make it complicated.
yeah, not gonna make it complicated, you know.
Because this is supposed to be a hassle-free way
Precisely.
of preparing your leftover ingredients and make them into a good dish that you can enjoy anytime at home for your loved ones and yourself.
Yeah, so you see the shallots, once you're done, the next thing, you know, a little bit of garlic. So garlic is just for flavoring as well.
Yep.
Then, of course, one of the key ingredients will be your potato. So the potato, you don't have to think too much about, you know, I should get this, get that. I think a good russet potato works, or if not, a little bit of, we call it baby potato.
Baby potatoes,
Yeah,
okay.
that works as well. So, of course, potato-wise, you can peel them. So this is the after effect that we did. So what we do, peel them, put in water. So you have to put in water because of oxidization,
Ooh.
right? So if you don't put it in water, what will happen? You'll kind of like get your potato turning
Brown.
right? So, of course, simple pan, we're not going to complicate things, just going to like,
So what's the heat level that we should be looking at for this dish?
okay, the heat level, I think, for home cooks, I think medium heat is always the safest, right? But of course, when you know that the medium heat ain't burning or make your thing a little bit dark, you know, than it is supposed to be, then you can slowly play with the higher heat.
Right.
If you go low heat, the problem with potato is that it is absorbing oil. So when you eat your potato, it's not
bit
crunchy.
greasy.
Yeah, then it's of course it's very greasy, right? So over here, of course, you got a pan. Then, like I said, very simple. So you have potato, okay? Then after that, you have some herbs. I got some thyme here. Then I have your chicken. Then at the same time, garlic, shallots, and your Parmesan cheese.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so very easy. And of course, lastly, which is the egg itself.
Okay.
Okay, so
Right.
we're just gonna lightly heat them up. So at home, grapeseed oil, olive oil, yeah, which is fine. So just do a
So
little
any
bit.
kind of oil works for this dish?
Yes, any
Okay.
kind of oil. I think I'm not. I mean, I don't leave out the fact that by putting a little bit of butter in it works as well.
That's what I wanted
Yeah,
to ask.
yeah.
If we can replace oil with butter.
Yeah, but of course, when you cook butter, right? The problem is cooking butter. You need to make sure that you have a oil in the beginning first,
Okay.
because butter turns brown.
Very quickly.
Yeah, very quickly. So when it turns brown and it becomes black, your flavors you'll be getting basically
little
very
kind of,
nasty
yeah,
butter going on, you
aftertaste.
know. Yeah, so you want it to heat noisette, right? We call it in French noisette. It means that it becomes brown. Beurre noisette, right? It means brown butter. In other words, beurre noisette also means the flavor of hazelnut. Because when you cook butter, when it turns brownish, the smell of butter becomes hazelnut aromatically.
Ooh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, so over here, okay, so what we will do, okay, we will have the potato inside first. Why you missing? Or why don't we put the shallots first?
But typically we will do that, right?
Yeah, we will do that because why we do it up with potato? Because we want them to kind of like cook a little first.
Oh.
Okay, because if I were to add the shallots, sometimes you worry that the shallots will get brown. And when the shallot get brown, what's next? You kanchong, you throw away everything.
Cause
Then you
it's
restart,
chao
then you realize, oh man, I ain't gonna cook again. You know, I don't want to cook
Yep.
again because it's such a hassle. So what we do, yeah, you see, the potato is in.
Yep.
So super easy. You give it about 2 minutes, from there, you'll be done. Then the next thing, you have a little bit of time, you know. So sometimes I would say, cooking is all about with love, So all this little thing, just pluck them out.
Well, this is actually the first time I'm seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
Because typically when I use thyme, right, it's in the bottle.
That's
Yeah.
our dry time. So
Yeah.
these are like, we call
The
it fresh time.
ones. Okay.
Yeah, so we have the fresh time.
Oh, look at how tiny it is.
Yeah, so we kind of put them up, with all their leaves over here. You can have the stalk, but
Okay.
not too much. So we just use a little bit of time. Yeah.
And we can just leave the potatoes there like that without
Yeah,
like,
that's why I say when you're doing at
stirring.
medium heat, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, so what you're doing now is simply just trying to get them cooked, trying to get them crisp. So like I said, this whole session, we ain't using oven and all that sort, or
We are
deep
not making
fryer.
things complicated.
We are
for
not.
you.
We're just gonna make it super, super simple.
And the good thing is that whatever you are using today, I
Hmm.
would say typically we can get them in the supermarket.
Yes, I think,
Very easy.
yes, your local market.
Yeah, you don't even need to go to the fancy ones.
Don't have to. You don't have to go to those, the fancy ones. I think, meaning my area, we don't have a fancy one. So all this can be easily found. Yeah. So if you don't want to use that herb, if you feel like, oh man, I just wanted to, like, I have coriander, I want to use some coriander, then sure, by all means, use it.
It boils down to your taste preference.
Yes,
right?
taste preference.
Taste preference.
So like I said, this is the assembly of the dish itself. So now we're just waiting it to brown. Okay. Just so you know, the studio doesn't have an exhaust.
Yep.
So there's a policy for me, and it's not to burn down the. Yeah. So
We are good. We are good.
we're good. Yeah.
We are good. We are good.
All right. So you can see the potato is kind of like slowly browning. Why there's a lot of steam in there? Because the fact that potato has water.
Yeah.
So once the water is out, then what will happen is that it gets a little bit crispier. Yeah. So in general, so once it's almost here, then what we will do, we'll throw in a little bit of the garlic.
Okay.
Right? So the garlic, because you don't want to burn the garlic in the beginning.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't want it to turn brown too early.
And then,
Then the shallots, right? So we'll put the
Shallots, yes.
shallots in, a little bit of the shallots. Yeah.
so because this is a home cooked kind of dish
Right.
that we are preparing, I
Right.
think at the end of the day, all the condiments like your shallots, your garlic is up to your individual taste preference.
Precisely.
You can add more, add less.
Yeah.
Typically, it's up to you, right?
Yeah, typically it's really up to you. Like for me, sometimes when I put the garlic, that doesn't mean that I will want it to be in there all the time. So I will just put it in there for, say, maybe about 1 minute or so. Then after that,
Just
I'll
to get the
remove-
flavoring.
Just to get that, the aromatic,
Right.
the flavoring coming through. So as you can see, with that being said, potatoes tend to brown a little bit already.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's looking good.
So, okay, like in this moment in time, that's when you really start to go the heat higher a little bit. Okay, why so? Because you want to get that browning, because now the potato would have been almost semi-cooked already. Yeah. So a good way to kind of know how is it cooked, please feel free to always taste your food. All right. So as you can see, now it's kind of like getting a little bit brown. Okay. So then of course the shallots, as you can see, it's getting there as well. So then what we will do, we'll add a little bit of butter in there.
Butter.
All right.
One tablespoon.
Yeah, 1 tablespoon.
And of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions along the way for Chef Dylan, feel free to type them in our chat box.
Yeah, please feel
And
free.
I'll be able to throw the questions over to
Yeah.
Doctor. I want to say doctor again. He's a
Soon,
doctor
soon,
in cooking.
soon.
Chef Dylan, yes,
Yes,
in the house
okay.
today.
All right. So as you can see, the aroma, by adding butter, if you're in the room, you can really smell the buttery flavor coming through.
Yep. I have to admit, I'm a butter person, so
Yes,
this
yes.
smell is just
Okay.
smelling good.
So what we are doing now is just getting the fact that it's cooking up the potato fully. Okay. So over here, then what I will do next is that the garlic that I put it in. So after cooking it for a while, then I will remove them.
Oh.
Because I just don't want it to be too pungent. I just want to have a little bit of slight flavoring in there.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll remove it.
But we can leave it in if we want, right?
If you are, if you're a big garlic fan, by all means, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, so what we'll do, so yeah. So getting there.
So for now, we just have oil, butter,
Yeah.
and then potatoes. your shallots and garlic,
Yeah, then the next thing, you put in the thyme.
the thyme.
Okay, so when you put in the thyme, that's when the flavors evolve again.
Yep.
Where you start seeing, start smelling
The smell
flavors
changes
of the, yeah.
again.
So then as you can see, okay, then the next thing we will do, the chicken.
Ooh.
All right. So
Just shredded chickens into
shredded
it.
chicken in
Okay.
the inside. Okay. So all the chicken, we'll just cook it up. All right. It depends, you know, you want more chicken by all means. But I love the skin part, you know, I'm a big fan of skin.
Chicken skin.
Chicken skin. So what I'll do is just put more on that. Yeah, so as you can see. So what you're trying to do now is turning it, making it a little bit of flavors coming through because you have the chicken in there, you get the shallots, all the flavors coming in to
Let it
infuse
sip
together.
through.
Yeah, so you let it sit. Okay, so there you go. All right.
Looking good.
All right,
Okay.
so it depends. You can go more brown. Over here, I'm trying not to go up too high on the heat. Reason because we are not in a place where we have an exhaust.
Yep.
So we just want to keep it in there. All right, so as you can see, give it a nice toss. Important for cooking phase, seasoning. All right, always remember to season, you know. So there you go. So we'll add a little bit of sea salt. Normal regular salt is fine as well.
Yeah, it's a trend right now for a lot of people to use sea salt at home too,
Correct.
because apparently it's better than, you know, for health benefit wise, I suppose.
Yeah, in some ways, but on another, because sea salt is, I would say, is not as strong as your normal salt. So in terms of the saltiness, it still come through.
Yep.
Yeah. So there you go.
So that is like a pepper.
Pepper, a little bit of pepper in
Okay.
there, a little bit of salt in there.
So
Then-
in case if we don't have like black pepper at home, are we able to replace it with
yeah,
white?
you can replace with white. That's not an issue at all.
Okay.
So as you can see, the hash is almost done. Then the butter. Sometimes do take note. Try not to put too much oil in there or too much butter in there because you will continue to be like super greasy.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're getting there. Okay. All right. So what we're gonna do now, like example. So once you have the chicken in there ready, then what we'll do?
The egg.
Yeah, we'll do up the egg.
Ooh.
Okay. So egg can be in many forms. Sometimes it can be a form where, in one extent, where you just cook the egg separately.
Yep.
Then after that, you will just put it on top, right? Like example, you want a fried egg, you want whichever. But sometimes for us, you know, we think that cooking can be, oh, after cook ready, you know, this one I'm going to transfer to another plate and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. But sometimes you don't really have to. In one extent, that I can do everything in one pot.
How do you do that?
Then after that, I serve it in that same pot.
Ooh.
Yeah, and of course, when I say serve it in the same pot, make sure that whoever eating it is knowing that the pot is hot. Lah. All right?
Okay.
So what we're going to do, so with that being said, so as you can see, the potatoes are pretty much cooked up ready. So we'll leave a hole in here. All right, we'll leave a hole in here. Then with that being said, 1 egg. All right, so
One
we have
egg.
the egg. Yeah, up to you. You want to put 2, it's fine. So for me, I'll just crack 1 egg. Just leave it in here.
Wow, look at
Yeah.
that.
So there you go.
Just leave it as such.
Yeah, just leave it as such. Then it will continue to just cook, you know, because there's oil, there's fat, there's flavors all in there. And so we're just cooking it up. Sometimes, you know, I'm cutting dice, but if you feel that you don't really have a knife or you don't want to have time to do with a knife, you can get those, I would say, a box grater. So a box grater that you can just grate it.
Yeah.
So it becomes also like your, let's say, your kind of mache style. Kind
Like
of
a rosti
like
vibe.
a rosti vibe.
Like a
yeah.
rosti vibe.
So it's like becomes like a chicken and chicken rosti, should I say? So you guys see the eggs, it's almost there.
Ooh.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah, my salt is kind of like stuck.
And
Yeah.
we just like, we're into it less than like what? 6 minutes?
Yeah.
6
Should be about
minutes?
there. So then the next thing, if you want to add more time, that's when you add it in the end because you don't really want to burn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the beginning part, you put a little one is more on flavoring. The other one will just put a
Like
little bit,
garnish?
add more. Yeah, a little bit
Ooh.
garnish. You just add a little bit more on it.
I mean,
Then-
it looks really nice. It's like a dish that I can imagine serving during Christmas.
Yeah,
I
it's
do not know
super
why, but it looks
easy.
very festive to me.
Yeah, but you want to mold it up a little bit. You can use better potatoes,
Wow.
like you Congo potatoes, rat potatoes, all that, right? So I like my yolk to be, runny.
And I like
Yeah.
how Chef Dylan arranged his ingredients in a way that it can just be so Instagram worthy.
Is it? I hope so.
Yeah, it is. It is. I
All
mean,
right.
while you're watching this, I'm sure you can feel the rumbling of your stomach. Yeah, because
Yeah, it's
I don't know.
lunch.
Like for me, I'm standing here, I can smell it too.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Okay, so
Okay,
the
what do we
next
do
thing,
next?
I think that this is nearly there already. All right, as you can see, the egg whites are almost cooked up.
Yep.
Don't worry because the pan is still hot. Because if you are serving it in your table, you can just put it there.
Okay.
And the pan is still hot, so the eggs are still be cooking.
Right.
Right. So like you see, so we have all done up. Then the next
90%,
thing, yeah, we have a
90%.
little bit of
Cheese?
yeah,
Parmesan cheese?
Parmigiano Reggiano,
Parmigiano.
or you can have, I would say sometimes don't worry about like the brand name. It can be also like your Cheesedale cheese, or even like if you have kids at home, the kids they used to eat those round little cheese. I cannot really
Oh, that's
remember.
good. That's good. The one
So,
with the cow little face.
yeah,
Ah.
so you can use that as well. So like obviously I got a little bit of Parmigiano Reggiano. So what I'll do is just that I will just grate them.
Wow.
Yeah. So what I'll do is just grate them up.
And again, the amount is up to your individual
Yeah,
preference,
it's really
right?
up to your
So
individual
if you're
preference.
a cheesy person,
Yeah.
you can feel free to add more.
Yeah, so now a little bit of cheese in it. Then yeah, there you go. I mean, this dish, then if how I would serve, like, I really don't feel like putting it on a plate or whatsoever. If you're, with a whole family, pick this up. Find a place where it's not too hot. Make sure there's a mat below. Put it there. Everyone tucked in. It's literally like a one pan cooking.
Yes.
Yeah. So what we have there? Oh, yeah, we are done.
We're done?
We're done. We're done for the first one.
Just like that?
Yeah, just like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have it is a good healthy blend as well because you have your protein,
Right.
you have your chicken, and then you have your carbs, like healthy carbs,
Right.
and then it's like simple.
Yeah, it's supposed to be simple because ultimately you don't want to spend more than 30 minutes cooking a meal, the leftover, if you feel like you want a quick meal. But yet at the same time knowing that by taking the scripts and all that, it still have a flavorful meal.
Nice. Okay. So, well, if you have any questions, feel free to send
Yeah.
them in. We are done with our first dish of the afternoon, and that is chicken potato hash.
Correct.
Right.
Precisely.
Well, I think he took less than 10 minutes to be
Okay.
exact, and it looks so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
please keep that for me later.
Yeah, I'll
Thank
keep
you
it.
very
Okay.
much. Okay.
All right.
And next, another common ingredients that we do have in our kitchen,
Yeah.
or I should say leftover ingredients, is rice.
Yep.
So most people, I think, we think about rice, we will associate them to egg fried rice, your
Yeah.
luncheon meat fried rice, your sambal fried rice,
Yeah.
or maybe like porridge and your congee. So
Right.
these are the things that we probably think as a typical home person when we look at leftover rice.
Correct.
And you mentioned that you want to make it a little more interesting for us today and hassle-free as well.
Super hassle-free.
Mexican.
Mexican.
Ooh, Mexican. Okay, so
Yeah.
take us through that.
Okay, so one of the key things for this dish, I try to make it like, what if really you just don't want to use any cooking equipment at all?
Okay.
Like, you spend probably 6 or 7 minutes watching over something.
Yeah.
You just say that, oh, I just want a minimal, maybe 2-3 minutes of cooking. Then the rest of it, I just kind of like want to piece everything up.
Okay.
I think we live in a world where at times, we just want instant gratification, right, for our food or whatsoever. So I think with the rice itself, I also feel that it can be something very simple and won't scare you guys off with regards to trying to make a meal that need technical skill, right?
And speaking of rice, I remember this. I have a friend whose helper actually tell her that, in their country,
Yes.
most Asians, I think in Singapore, Malaysia, we tend to keep meat and all, like, when we look at a dish, we are
Right.
full, we just want to finish up the proteins. And
Right,
then we
right.
put the rice to waste. But I think, if I'm not wrong, is Myanmar or somewhere, they value rice that much to the extent that no matter how full they are, they'll make sure they finish off the rice.
Right.
So it's very interesting how different culture diversify when it comes to ingredients like this. And today, I think we shouldn't take rice as something that we can just put it into a bin like that.
Yeah, that's
Pick up this dish today, and maybe you can better handle your leftover rice
Yeah.
and make it to better use.
Precisely. I think for rice itself, I mean, the quickest way is to really just kind of like cook it, fry it,
know.
or make it into a porridge, which can be usually very tasty as well. But like for the Italians, they kind of like use the leftover rice, they make it into arancini. So arancini is basically rice ball. So what you do is that you kind of like pick the rice, add some flavorings in there. You know, the kids will love it because you kind of like play with the kids. You make it into a rice ball. The inside you want to stuff with anything. Like I said, you have chicken leftovers, shred them up, stuff it inside, and all that kind of thing. Then after that, breadcrumb it, fried it, right? But of course, there's like English. They kind of like make it like a rice pudding. It's like kind of like a dessert.
Okay.
Yeah. So we cook the rice like a porridge style. Then after that, you add a little bit of cream, add a little bit of we call it like a little bit of vanilla paste,
Okay.
then a little bit of sugar. You know, to make it in a sense where it becomes like a dessert. Yeah, so there are many ways to deal with rice.
Yep.
Or you can even like right now, if you happen to have like some in at home, if you're like super big on cooking, you have a dehydrator at home. So what you can do is that you can take the rice, cook it until very soft, right? Then after that, mash it up, scrape them into a sheet, or you can use an oven to dehydrate it. So once it's being dehydrated, what happens is that it becomes a sheet. Then from there, you cut it off. Then what do? You deep fry them. So it becomes like a deep fried rice cracker. Then when the rice cracker, you're gonna get fancy, you do start to do a little bit of things. That's what we generally do in restaurant lah. Because we tend to take, I mean, rice is very common, but what do we do with it right after?
Okay.
Right, okay, so we have the rice. Then of course, all the elements here, as you can see, we have a little bit of corn, and this corn are like canned ones.
Canned corns.
Yeah, then of course,
Baked beans.
Baked beans. Alternatively to baked beans, sometimes you want to have a little bit of pinto beans.
Pinto beans.
These are all cooked ready because cooking beans takes very long, right? You got tomato paste, then of course garlic, shallots, then at the same time you have all your green bell peppers and your tomatoes, your avocados, a little bit of parsley, a little bit of coriander. Then of course, instead of Parmesan cheese, we can have a little bit of cheese dill cheese.
Okay.
And then importantly for Mexican food, we need to have a touch of
sour cream.
Sour cream, right? And of course lime itself. So this time around, I'm not too sure for you guys. Would you like to see like for me to cook it, or you just like to see me to assemble it? You know, which would you want? I mean, it's a question just to see any one of it.
I'll answer this. I want to see you cook it.
Oh yeah, see me cook it. I'm
Yeah, I wanna
sweating
see you
here.
cook
That's
it.
why I try to.
I want to see you cook it because it looks so good.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me put this down. Okay. So for cooking wise, it's the same. Okay. So first thing, what we're gonna do, we're gonna add some flavoring wise to, like example, your bell pepper or even your tomato. So when I say why it can be so much easy to do it raw, is because the fact that you can use this like almost a la Subway style and just piece everything together, right? So what we're gonna do now is that we're gonna just, same thing, garlic, but this time around the garlic, instead of back then we just simply just crush it, this time around we will just slice them up, okay? Okay.
So instead of chop, just now you mash it.
Mash it.
Now it's kind of like slicing them up.
Yes, so we
Okay.
slice up, then after that we will just do a quick chop.
Quick chop, okay.
So a quick chop will involve you just making sure that your hands are there.
I'm curious, Dylan, how long did you're into cooking for the longest time. How long did it take for you to master proper chopping? Because it's a skill, right?
Yeah, it is. I think chopping wise, it's in my career, until now, we're still learning not just chopping, but I would say your knife skill, refining your knife skill, right? But for chopping, I think like what we are doing now, importantly, just a small tip, okay, always hold the back of the knife because it acts as a what you call it, a swing, right? A swing, okay. Or then after this one, just put it here. It can be one hand, two hand, but I will usually use 3 finger, right?
Okay.
Then after that, just move it.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's just like that. So it's long, you want to go very fast.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's without chopper lah. If you are not planning to use like a automated chopper at home. Yeah,
I know, because if an amateur were to chop it, right, I think everything will just start flying. That's what happened to me at the very
Right.
start when I started to pick up cooking.
Mhm.
Is I try to chop, right, and then it flies there, and then after I have to clean everywhere, and I realized that I realized the skill of chopping is so important when it comes to cooking.
Yes, I think for a chef, I think it's important to have good knife skill. Yeah. So what we are doing now is basically making this thing called basically we are chopping it, so we're making it a very small brunoise.
Brunoise,
Yeah,
okay.
in French it means like to make it very
Brunoise.
small chop. Yeah. So you have it here. So almost 1 tablespoon each. So you have it done over here. We got a small little pan, okay, over here again. So we're just gonna lightly heat them up,
Okay.
and a touch of olive oil. All right, just a little bit. Okay,
Just swirl it.
just swirl it.
Okay.
Yes. So once it kind of like lightly heat them up already, we will put on your shallots and your garlic.
Okay. And now our backend team is going to put you to a test.
Yeah, sure.
You have 8 minutes to finish this
Oh, 8 minutes?
dish.
Oh,
Yes.
all right. Okay, now we only left 8 minutes.
8 minutes,
All
correct.
right. Okay, so there you go. So we have that shallots in.
Let's see whether Chef Dylan is able to complete this
Alright,
dish in 8 minutes,
yeah.
okay?
Okay, shallots in. Then next thing we're gonna do is just lightly, we call them sweat, right? It's
Sweat.
Sweat them.
Okay.
Sweat them is cooking them without browning them.
Ooh,
Alright.
sweat them. Okay,
So
that's
we're
a
just
new
gonna
term I'm
sweat.
learning.
All right. Then after that, I'm sorry, I just get my
Can.
glove.
Go ahead.
Okay. So what to do with the rice? So now the
What to
rice
do with the
becomes
rice?
the main picture, right?
Yes, it
so
is.
of course we're here. Then what we do, we have a mixing bowl.
A mixing bowl.
Right. Just grab the rice, mixing bowl, rice in there. So this is probably for 2 portion. Okay, so the rice can be, in one extent, you can just lightly microwave them.
Microwave
Okay,
them.
microwave
Okay.
them.
Once you take it out from the fridge.
Yeah, once you take out the fridge,
For
microwave
how
them.
long?
It can be about 1 minute or
1
1 and a
minute.
half. Do remember, put a cup of small little water in there.
Why?
Yeah, so that it kind of like steam it.
Oh,
Yeah, so
okay,
you don't stay too.
So next to it, not
rainy.
in it, right?
Not in it.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
So, but for this one, it's already been done. So then what we will do, a little bit of flavorings coming through. So
Okay.
a little bit of cumin powder.
Cumin powder.
All right. So a touch of it. All right. Then of course a little bit of chili powder.
Chili powder.
All right. Okay, if you're not a big fan of chili powder, you can skip them with normal pepper.
Pepper.
Right.
Okay.
And garlic powder.
Garlic powder.
Okay. Then the next thing over here, once it's almost done,
Mm-hmm.
okay, not that we are gonna make a fried rice, we're just gonna lightly cook them together with the garlic and shallots.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just very lightly. We're not gonna make fried rice here. So once you get them in, all right. So just like
We just want the flavors, right?
Yeah, we just want
Okay.
a little bit of flavors coming through, you know.
This is not frying.
Yeah, it's not frying, just
It's just
mixing them,
mixing
okay,
them up.
mixing
Okay.
them up. Then importantly, you know, no salt, no flavor. So do make sure that you got a amount of salt in there. Okay. Then we have the pepper, right? So
Yep.
the pepper.
Any difference for like yellow, green, and red?
No, it's just like whichever you want to use.
Okay.
So we'll just cut them up.
Ooh.
Okay. So I'll just cut a portion. This one we'll keep
Okay.
it here. Usually all this we don't throw. We can make stock.
Stock.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can make whichever. It's a small portion. So we're cooking for 1, right? So same thing.
5 more minutes.
5 more
I don't know
minutes.
whether he can do it, but
All
let's
right.
see. Let's see.
Yeah. Okay, so we have them here. Then the next thing, tomato.
Tomatoes.
So we
Okay.
have tomato over here. Then what we will do, just thinly slice them up.
Okay.
Okay, in wedges form. Up to you. You know, some people would like, you want to dice it? Sure, no problem.
Yep.
Right? So we have them here. Okay, just put them 4.
Mm-hmm.
Put a vegetable here. Okay. Okay. Then the next thing, I don't mind, I'm just gonna wipe it.
Okay.
Wipe it.
And we can just leave the rice there like that.
Yeah.
Oh.
But of course, do remember just stir it because we have got a very low heat. Yeah, so the rice, as you can see,
Ah.
coming back to life.
Okay.
All right. Then, of course, importantly, you want some avocado in there, you know.
Yeah,
So
we
the
can't miss
avocado.
out avocado in Mexican dishes,
Mhm,
right?
Very simple. So you got a nice avocado.
Wow, fresh. Okay.
Then after that, you can scrape it off in one ways by using the spoon. Give me a moment.
Sure.
Okay. So then, you will scrape them off. Okay. Keep all the stuff. Don't waste it. Okay, so the rice is done. Very simple. Put the rice in.
Back into the mixing bowl.
The mixing bowl. You have them, right? Okay. Then as for your avocado, up to you. You can want to slice it. I go a very normal slice. Don't think about it so much. Okay, just normally. Just do that. Okay, the last one. Then after that, we'll put this one side, right?
Okay.
Okay, leave it one side. Then now, what you have is basically just cutting up some herbs.
Cutting up some herbs. Okay.
All right, so your herbs. Okay, how many more minutes do I have?
Four, three,
Four,
no,
three
three
more.
and a half, 3.5.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
3.5.
super fun.
3.5.
Okay, so you have it
We're
here.
putting you to a test right now.
So you got your parsley.
Parsley, okay.
Okay, all right. So chop them. I love parsley, all right. So I'll just put them here, inside. All right,
Just
so
add
here
them
you go.
into the mixing bowl, okay?
Okay, then you just give it a good mix. All right, so now assembly, yeah? Tortillas.
Tortillas,
So tortillas,
yes.
you can microwave it a little bit, but we're not using microwave here. So what we're gonna do, next up, you got your
Tomato paste.
tomato paste. All right, so tomato paste, scrape it a little bit, give it that sourness.
Okay, use the back of the spoon
Yeah, so just
so
scrape
that
it
you
a
can
little
spread
bit.
it.
Okay. Then the next thing we're gonna do, of course, by adding your
Sour cream.
Sour cream. Okay,
Ooh,
instead
okay.
of it, then one,
And then the baked beans.
a little bit of the baked beans. All right. Okay.
And then your sweet corns.
Yep, sweet corn,
Okay.
just a little bit.
You
some
have
people-
less than 3 minutes now.
No, it's fine. So if you want, sometimes you can use beef or whichever.
Okay.
So we'll put a bit of the rice here. Okay, just a touch, yeah. Then after that, your
Your
capsicum,
capsicums.
not too much. So just that we can fold it.
Okay.
Tomato.
Tomatoes. And your
Okay.
avocados.
Then after that, your avocado, right? This is like super healthy,
Mm.
super extremely healthy. So just put them here.
So we can we can replace this rice with brown grain rice and all that
Whichever
stuff, right?
rice
Okay.
that we feel, I feel that it can be used.
Okay.
So not gonna rush, but if you want a little bit of
Cheese?
cheese in there, okay, the cheese will probably take me 2 minutes. Just joking, yeah. So you have a little bit of cheese,
This is your typical Cheesedale cheese.
Cheesedale cheese, yeah. So once you have that, then just tear it in half. One here,
One here.
one here, and you're done.
Okay.
So the next thing you can do it is just fold them. So from here,
Folding is a skill as
folding
well
is a
for
skill. So you
burritos.
put
you
both
know.
sides,
Okay.
fold it. Okay, then after that you tuck it in,
Tuck it in.
turn it.
Turn it.
Okay, remember to tuck it in on the side.
Okay.
Tuck it in, then there you have it.
Wow.
Okay, so then what do?
What do?
Just
Slice
cut
it.
them up in half. How would I serve it? Just put them. You can see all the rice is in there.
Mm-hmm.
Just serve it up like that. Then follow up with a bit of sour cream,
Okay.
a little bit of lime. There you
Just like that. Okay. let
Just
me
like that.
bring
So
it-
it's
bring this
within
up.
within the timing. Yeah.
Yes, you still have 1 minute.
Yeah. So there it is.
It looks so good.
Yeah. If you want to like do eggs inside, scramble eggs,
It's possible. as
possible
well.
is cook the scrambled egg, put it into the rice, mix it up, and there you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Give it up for Chef Dylan. Yay!
Thank you.
Wow,
Thank
you
you
did
so
it
much.
in less than 8 minutes.
Ah,
You still
yeah.
have 45 seconds to talk.
Oh, I didn't even see the countdown timer is here.
I was just kind of eyeing on the countdown. You did
Ah.
it 2 dishes. It took you less than what, half an hour? Because
Yeah,
you were
if you
like
really
chatting
say it,
away.
yeah.
Yeah, so if you would like to visit Chef Dylan, you know
yeah.
where to find him. You can drop by the Masses, which is located at Beach Road, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, they serve very good French fusion cuisine. So thank you so much, Chef,
Thank you
for
for
joining
having
us.
me.
And
Thank
please
you.
keep these 2 dishes for me. I want to eat it later.
Right, I will.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we hope you have enjoyed this segment. And up next, this is a day that we say that every day should be a Women's Day, and we do have a featured video specially for you featuring one of our ladies from PFP Legacy. So please sit back and enjoy.
Thank you.
Hi, happy Women's Day. I'm Ven and I head the Legal and IT department at PFPFA. But exciting. I view my career more of an extension of my personality and growth and just a big part of this life that I'm building for myself. So perhaps work-life integration would be more accurate. If you see value and enjoy what you're doing at work, actually, why would there be such a distinct separation? You know, we take on several major roles in our life, be it as a mother, daughter, spouse, employee, or leader, and these roles all require varying levels of commitments at different points in our life. So there are times where I'm attending to maybe personal matters on a weekday, and there are also times where I'm still looking at my emails. In fact, pretty often when I'm on holiday and even at night. I oversee legal corporate matters at the agency. I meet clients who are doing estate planning and I draft up their wills for them. Estate planning is the process of planning for the transfer of a person's estate or assets after they pass on. The free flow beer tap and the KTV system in the office. But I think most of all, it's the satisfaction that I get when clients thank me for helping them ensure the longevity of their legacy and telling me that they can now travel with a peace of mind because they've ensured the security and the successful transfer of their assets after they pass on. My favorite quote for women is 妇女能顶绑边天. Bye, see you around.
There you have it, a video from Vanessa sharing with us her perspective of womanhood. I love it when she say that 妇女能顶板变天 means woman can actually fill up half or hold up half the sky. But up next, it is time to unwind your Saturday. This afternoon, we are so happy to have Brendan, who is a Lululemon Legacy Ambassador, in studio with us to teach us some ways or how we can set our mental focus or things like that that we can really be grateful for, or even unwind with some simple stretches if you feel, you know, after a long day at work, or even if you have been going through a long busy day, how or what we can do to just kind of ease our body and our mind up. So without further ado, I'm going to hand the time over to Brendan. Brendan, over to you.
All right. Hi everyone. I see like quite a few of you are online with me. Anybody's first time to doing yoga? Not sure. You guys can even text it out. I mean, if you have done yoga and practiced already at home, I'm gonna just take you on a journey for this next 40 minutes. And we're gonna just do some mindful exercises, nothing too intense, but it's all really meant to really let your body relax, because you know your body is a physical part, and also it's a practice of both, not just your body, but also the mind. And sometimes, you know, stress, daily life, it gets really gets stored in your body as well. So how we're going to release that is through this practice today. The next, 30 plus 40 minutes is going to be meant for you to release and also reflect on the topic of gratitude. It takes men to support women, so I'm really happy to share this space with you guys. And all you need is, a comfortable space at home or wherever you are. If you guys have a mat or not, get a big towel. We're gonna be, mostly on the floor, getting relaxed in this next, next 30 plus minutes. Yeah. So if you guys already have a space, get comfortable. If you have earpieces, I have this next, nice playlist really curated for you to enjoy as well. So just plug in, close your eyes, and just vibe in with me. Yep. All right, once you're ready, we can just start in a comfortable cross-legged position wherever you're at. Yep, we just have your hands just gently on both knees, just drawing your shoulders back and down once you're ready, and closing your eyes. And we just take a first few moments of today, just taking a few deep inhales from your nose, and exhales from your nose. Just allowing yourself to really feel any areas in your physical body first, any tightness, tensions, aches, whatever has been, holding up in your body. I invite you to just take the awareness there right now. And with the next few breaths and exhales, try to relax any tightness or tensions you might be holding on just by, bringing the awareness there. Letting go. Maybe some areas of your neck or jaw has been tensing up this entire week from stress, from your home, whatever has been bothering you in the body. And now as we get aware of the physical body, I invite you to just shift this awareness towards your mind. The mind is a place where it's about 50% of the awareness and your sense of being. So what are you thinking of in this moment? Whatever thoughts, let it come with the next few breaths. And with the next few inhales, just start to really breathe in, being aware of the thought. And if you can, there's no stress at all, try to let it just slowly be placed aside of your room, aside from this physical space for the next part of this practice. As we're grounding and just exploring inward today, any stress, tensions, feelings, as we place it aside, come back to the connection of this moment. And this moment is the combination of your mind, your body, and also the breath. So as you take your next inhale, I invite you to draw your shoulders back and down, very simply relaxing the entire spine. Now, as you're getting relaxed in this space, you can join me as we start by drawing circles from your neck clockwise direction. Try to relax the jaw, relax your facial muscles. And really take this time to feel that sense of calming release. Now, as you're going to your own pace, if there's a certain tension in maybe your neck or shoulders, take a moment to pause at that angle. And just come back to moving whenever you're ready. As we're getting really loose and easy on this side of the neck and shoulders, we're going to start to change directions of your neck rotation counterclockwise. Easing up from any tensions from this side as well. As you keep it going, breathing, you can join me as we come back to a comfortable long spine. Allow your shoulders to soften back and down, and just take a moment. Pause. We're going to breathe in this space and maybe just start to listen to the surrounding. Whatever sounds are around you, around your room, around your space right now. Let all of this slowly be placed aside as well as we come to the inner sense of awareness, the awareness of your breath. Now when you're ready, next gentle inhale, I invite you to draw your shoulders back and down one more time. And we're going to start today just bringing both hands to heart center, just starting to vibe inwards with a very simple intention for this next practice. So as we channel the awareness, you don't need to have any, fancy intention. Maybe an intention of gratitude today. Whoever you're grateful for in your life. As we celebrate Women's Day, there might be some woman in your life you really want to give thanks to. It's just the inner thanks. Maybe it's yourself. You sometimes forget about yourself to give that sense of self-love back to yourself as well. So if that is you, maybe placing yourself as priority today as we vibe in with gratitude. Joining me as we open this next practice and this intention with a very gentle bow of the head. Namaste. Welcome to practice. All right, so we're going to start off today just slowly bringing your legs forward, wherever that is. Maybe it's on the floor as well. You don't have to be fancy in your practice. All you need is your breath today. So we're going to slowly draw circles from your ankles. You can have your hands just supporting behind. And we're just going to really get that release through, your shin bones, the calf muscles. Just shaking it out. As we're just releasing, you can just change directions. Make sure you just get a good release through, all the blood circulation just flowing through. Once you're ready, a good release, you can shake it out. Just getting the knees, circulated, ankles as well. And then over here, just pointing your toes and then slowly flexing your foot. Yeah, so any tensions, especially in your job, if you have to walk all week or on the desk, we feel a lot of tensions through the spine. Get this release right now through this simple movements. Yeah, so our first gentle release will be very, very simple. Yeah, we're gonna just have the soles of your feet just joining together in front, just like me. Yeah, your knees open wide. Now you don't have to feel the need to pull it all the way in and feel like, you're gonna fall backwards. So just get your legs forward. Now as we draw your shoulders back, and then slowly, we're just gonna bring your hands forward, and if you can, just soften your forehead down and slowly relax your head. So as you're relaxing your head, don't feel the need to, pull deeper. Today is gonna be a yin yoga practice where you can really relax. So now as you're just getting relaxed at home, this first pose is meant to release a little bit of your lower back, a bit of your, the spaces around the bottom of your knees, inner thighs, the shoulders and the neck as well. So as you take this first pose with me, deep inhales and relaxing exhales, just letting any tightness through the inner thighs, the bottom of your knees just soften out. Now in some of the poses today, we'll be working from 2 to about 3 minutes. Yeah, some maybe lesser as well. So as we just work into some of the poses, let whatever sensations come. Remember, if it's a sharp pain, just take a moment to, just move and just adjust your body and come back to this gentle release. And once you found this sense of stillness, deep inhales from your nose and calming, relaxing exhales. Allow the breath to be just like waves of the ocean just pouring in. And as you exhale, just releasing any tensions back to that ocean, which you can just imagine in your head. Listening to the sound of the breath pouring through, we have another 1 minute in this first position. Now you might be starting to feel, certain sense of tingling sensations around your body, numbness. That is totally fine, but not a sharp pain. So as you relax in this first pose is all about that fold forward. It's about that humility in life and that sense of surrender. So as you take a few deep inhales intentionally, just observing physically, is there anything you need to surrender to? Any pain, any tightness which doesn't serve you anymore today? You're just going to use your exhales. If you can, try to consciously breathe and let the tensions go. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Gently inhale. We're going to bring your hands and vertebrae by vertebrae, roll your spine all the way up. Now you should feel some sensations coming down through the bottom of your knees, around the inner thighs and the hamstrings. But once you're comfortable, just extend both legs forward. Yeah, once again, this time you want to just take it really slow. Rock out the ankles, release it out. And now you might be getting in this zone of you're gonna just start to fall asleep into this sense of subconscious. That's really good. So if you guys who want to just switch off the lights at home, feel free to take that option as well. Yeah, or even light some candles. Yep. Now we're gonna slowly move into our second pose. Please do not rush. Yeah, you want to just take it really slow to join me in your first tabletop position. So in the tabletop in yoga, now we're going to have your wrists just below your shoulder blades. Your fingers spread nice and wide apart and your knees comfortably below your hips. Now you can tuck the toes, you can point it back, doesn't really matter, but just make sure that your knees are really comfortable. Now we're going to take the next inhale, turning the tailbone high, belly down, and open up the chest. Try to have a long neck. This is our nice cow position. This releases the spine. And as you exhale, we're going to just chin to chest, round the spine, and give yourself a good push into the ground. So just really feeling this release through your middle, lower areas of the spine. You're going to do this a few more times today. Inhale, tailbone high, belly down, open up the chest. And exhale, rounding the spine, giving a good release. You can close your eyes with me, just really feel your body and how it's moving naturally like a dance. Now a few more times. Inhale, tailbone high, belly down, open up the chest. And exhale, rounding the spine, getting a good, comfortable release here. Last 2 times together. Inhale, tailbone high, belly down, open up the chest. And exhale, rounding the spine, a good release here. Last time. Inhale, tailbone high, belly down, open up the chest. Long neck. And exhale, give yourself a very good push this time. And just stay here with me. We're going to push into the ground, holding for 4. Just like an angry cat. 3, 2, and 1. Gently coming back to a neutral tabletop position. So really just getting the spine back and neutral. You should feel a good release already, actually. Yep. Now over here, we're going to have your knees about mat width distance apart. Don't worry if you don't have a mat, somewhere comfortable. Now we're going to touch the toes at the back, just like me. And then we're going to just sink your weight all the way back towards the heels. Yep. Now over here, we're going to just walk your hands slightly forward. And now we're going to start to walk into a very comfortable twist. So I'll show you first. You can take your right hand and thread it all the way through to your left side. Yep, so right hand towards the left side. I'll just slowly repeat, so don't worry. Yep. Now over here, you should feel that maybe the right shoulder's on the ground, but don't worry if you're tight or you have shoulder pain. Where you are is good enough. Yep. Now left hand, we have a few options. So those of you who feel like maybe the mat is a little too low for me to put my head, you can use your left hand as a pillow. Or for those of you who want, you can bring your left hand forward, take a nice gentle extension, and just relax your elbows here. Yeah, deep inhales, deep exhales. We're just gonna stay here for 1.5 minutes. Now you might feel, your hips, your hamstrings, the knees starting to work. And also this very gentle twist, which releases a lot of stress on the shoulders. So this is another one of my favorite poses. Yeah, as you inhale, feel your diaphragm along with your belly just slowly rise towards the ground. And as you exhale, we're gonna just release any tensions around, maybe the neck, the shoulders, all these areas are connected. Slowly, as you just bring awareness in, close your eyes, relax your jaw. And remember, for those of you at home who, might not be practicing right now or doing yoga, totally fine. You can just close your eyes, take a moment of mindfulness. Deep inhale with me. And deep exhale. And in this pose, other than the breathing, I would just want to have a question to you at home. And the topic of gratitude and woman empowerment and female empowerment. Who are the females in your life? Whoever comes to your mind. Who are the ones who just really made the last few years after COVID so much easier for you? Could be family, could be friends. Now, as you're breathing and reflecting, certain sensations on the shoulders, especially the right shoulders like me, will be, starting to form. Relax, we have another 3, 2, and 1. Now we're gonna slowly switch sides. Over here, you can lift your head up gently. Take the right hand towards the front of the mat, and then your left hand over here, we're gonna thread it all the way through towards the right side. So likewise, your shoulders is on the ground. Yep. Keep the right elbow on the ground and keep your head really relaxed. Yep. Now as you're relaxing out, take a few deep breaths. And just breathe it inwards with me. No rush at all. Yep. We're gonna have another 1.5 minutes on this side. Yeah, because not many of you are, switching on your cameras. Don't worry about your form too much. Today is all about reflecting inwards, and I think that's the most purposeful for this, 40-minute session. So as we're in this side, breathe into the left shoulders. As you're breathing to the left shoulders, feel this twist. And we'll just bring it further into that last question, you know, who are you grateful for, the females in your life? It could be a motherly figure, not just your mom. It could be a female friend. It could be a few people who made the last few years less intense. So as you're breathing deep, allow, you know, those people in your mind's eye to just come up to the surface of your thoughts. The practice of gratitude can be a very, very visual one. So as you're just acknowledging, and in your mind's eye, just saying thanks. It's just sending good vibrations out. And this practice of gratitude goes a long way into happiness and just really feeling content in your everyday life. Have another 15 seconds on this side. Some of you on the left shoulders might be feeling a little numb, and that is totally fine. Your ankles as well. Breathing for another 3, 2, and 1. Wherever you are, you can slowly open your eyes. Remember, you want to just stay slow. Now, right hand, we're going to just slowly guide yourself up and slowly help yourself back into a little kneeling position like me. Yep. Now, over here, we're going to just slowly inch forward. So we're going to have your forearms on the ground, elbows in front, and then slowly we're going to extend your legs out. Yep, trust me, you're going to feel comfortable after this. And you know, some of you already might be sleeping in the last few poses, which we're going to have today. Yep. Now, as you're spreading your fingers apart, for this pose, try to have your elbows just directly under your shoulders. Yep. So we're not too far wide out. We're not, too front as well with the elbows. You want to have it just below your shoulders. Yep. Now, as you're looking forward, you close your eyes and try to think of lengthening the crown of your head towards the ceiling over here. Now, some of you might have a lower back pain. Yep. Now, if you're feeling a lower back pain, you can always extend your legs out, just like me. Yep. Or just relax all the way down. Yep. So this is totally a good option if it's too intense as time passes by. Yep. Now, as we close your eyes, try to have a long neck. This is the Sphinx position, the Egyptian Sphinx. The Sphinx is a pose in which I relate closely to structure and also of patience. So for those of us just having your eyes closed and just listening and just being mindful, or if you're really practicing with me, you might feel a certain sensation just come up to your lower back. For those of you just reflecting, bring the awareness to, some of the things in your life, maybe a goal, maybe something big you want in your life, which requires structure and patience. Whatever that is, let it come right now. And with the next few inhales, let's just breathe in your body with this sense of positivity that will come. As you exhale, let any doubt, any sense of self-doubt, release it out with your exhales. Now for those in the pose, we're already about 1.5 minutes in. You might be feeling a little bit of an intensity on your lower back. Remember, if it's way too intense, always let go, relax all the way down. However, there are a handful of you who may feel like, I want to go deeper, and this is the option. You can bring your hands about 45 degrees to both sides and slowly lift your elbows up into a seal position. This is a seal position. Close your eyes, long neck, and just take a few deep breaths here. You have 30 more seconds. Yep. it starts to, get too intense, totally fine to come to the Sphinx position as well with the elbows supporting, just like me. Deep breaths, as we're just listening to the music, feel the sensations of your body. Start to talk. Sometimes less is more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very nice. Now you can slowly open your eyes and join me as we very, very slowly bring your hands. And you want to kind of stack it in front of you like a pillow. Yep. I see a lot of kids doing this on a bed. So this is our time. This is actually called the crocodile pose. Toes can be either pointing back, or you can just point your toes, towards both sides, whichever feels better for you. Yep. Now, we're going to just slowly turn your head towards the left side first. So getting a little release through the neck. And also the back from the last position. Now, once you're done here, close your eyes. Take a few breaths as your belly is close towards your mat. I want you to feel the diaphragm just rise towards the mat. And as you exhale, this sense of a total release, as if you're melting down any final tensions caught in your body. As we are taking this time to really vibe inwards. Life sometimes has that ups and downs, but when it's going down, it's always a good time to let go to a lot of stuff, to realign. That's life telling us to realign. So as you're breathing into this pose, enjoy that release. Any subconscious stress, sometimes you're holding stress in your jaw, your shoulder blades, tightness, stress from work or family or life in general. You want to let that go right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now you can slowly join me and turn your head to the other side, to the right side. So we're just really getting a comfortable release now on the neck. Most of your spine should be starting to feel really, really calm and easy. The lower back, which the tensions were building up from the previous pose, this pose will start to release it all. So you're taking a few moments to really vibe in onto this side. Feel the physical sensations. Your diaphragm rise. And as you exhale, that sense of release right now, letting go of whatever doesn't serve you on your neck, on your lower back, on the back of the hips, all the way down to the soles of your feet. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very gently, you can join me as we lift your head. All right, we're gonna get really, really comfortable. If the last few poses was even really tough for you, totally fine. We all have our own bodies, right? Now we're gonna slowly turn around. So we're on the mat or on the floor, wherever you are, in a comfortable space. Now you wanna have your knees bent, and over here, just adjust your clothes. Get your knees and your, about hip-width distance apart. And then your hands, you want to just start to hug your knees towards your chest. So as you're hugging your knees towards your chest, try to have your tailbone flat on the ground. So this releases your lower back a little bit as well. Now once you're ready, we're just going to rock left and right. Get that good release. You don't have to move fast. Remember, you're in your own world. Relaxing and releasing any small tensions. This time is for you. Now as you're rocking left and right, very, very slowly, we're just gonna start to bring the soles of your feet onto the ground again. You should be feeling really comfortable now. Now, Getting your left soles of the feet and your ankle just over the right knee. So left leg over the right knee. Yep. Doesn't matter which side you're doing first, we're going to do the other side as well. Now we're going to bring this right knee towards your chest. And if you can, both hands, we're going to hold on to the bottom of your right knee. Yep. Totally fine if you want to hold anywhere. Yep. Or if you want to hold on top. Yep. Totally fine wherever is accessible. So if you are comfortable just holding it there, just take a moment and feel that left hip just start to relax. Yeah, for most of us, we might be holding the bottom of that right knee. So just adjust, relax, close your eyes, and breathe. You'll start to feel a very, very gentle sensation around the left hip actually starting to form. And as we breathe, we have about 1 minute and 30 seconds here. You may stay here, but those who want to use a bit of movement to release tensions can join in with me for the next part. Yeah. For those who want, with your eyes closed as well, you can just start to extend your right leg up. You don't have to overextend. Just keep the knees just a tiny bend of the knees will be good. And as you exhale, release that bend. Inhale, straighten. And exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. And exhale, bend. Beautiful. Yep, just feeling the energy flowing through your legs. Inhale, bend, breathing. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. And exhale, bend. Inhale. And exhale. Anytime you can come back to stillness or just keep it going. We have 30 more seconds. As you listen to the breath, feel the breath passing through the rest of your body in this state of calmness. Its own personal space to reconnect with yourself, with your thoughts, with your body. Sometimes we stop to think, or we don't even have the time to stop. 3, 2, and 1. Slowly release the right leg. We're going to have the soles of the feet on the ground. Release your left leg, soles of the feet onto the ground as well. And just make sure you feel, that even out of the energy. After you hold one pose, even the smallest pose, you start to feel sensations. Yeah. Now we're going to do the other side. So if you followed me, the right heel or right ankle will be on the left knee. Remember, if you're taking the other side, just switch the sides. Totally fine as well. Yeah. Now we're going to bring the left knee towards your chest. And likewise, we're going to hold on to the bottom of your left knee. Yep, you can track your right hand through both legs. Now, once you have it here, you can choose to stay here, let the lower back just release on the ground. And this might feel really comfortable, honestly. Yeah. If you want, join me as we take a few movements, just like before. Yeah. Inhale, movement meditation. And exhale, bend. Deep inhale from the nose, straighten. And exhale, gently release and bend. Inhale, as you're doing this, keep the shoulders relaxed. Exhale, bend. Inhale. And exhale, release. Inhale, we have another 1.5 minutes. You can go at your own pace. You can pause. You can just stay there and release. So really, today is all about knowing how your body feels. And it's all about you. As we practice the sense of gratitude from the people we're grateful for, I would like you to bring awareness to some of the situations in life you have been grateful for this past 2 years. It can be opportunities, it could be people, like before, totally fine if you have more to add on the list. Or just in, situations which really makes you very grateful for in your life. This could be a new job, it could be newborn in the family, it could be really anything. And whatever is coming to your mind right now, take the time to just let it replay as we move or as you just stay still, totally fine in this pose. 3, 2, and 1. Very slowly, you can just release your left knee towards the ground. Release your right leg back onto the ground, keeping both knees bent and the soles of the feet on the ground. Yeah, you should feel like a blood circulation is just really flowing upwards now. Yeah, so in a very slow practice, this is what happens. Now over here, one more time, we're gonna hug both knees in. Give yourself a really good hug as we release your body left and right. And now we're gonna just walk into some final twists before our final Shavasana. So we're gonna bring your hands to both sides, just extending out to the sides. If you don't have enough space at home, totally fine. You can just cactus arms. So just bending both elbows and placing it on the floor like me. And when you're ready, you can drop both knees towards your left side first. Yep. So now as your knees are dropping to your left side, we're gonna just turn your head towards the right side. Now try your best to have your right shoulders onto the ground. But remember, totally fine if you cannot, or if this is not accessible. Yeah. Now if you're comfortable, you can turn your head to the right side. You should feel good twist down the spine. This is just to realign the spine, giving blood circulation. A good little release through the spine with blood circulation, oxygen, as you breathe. 3, 2, and 1. Very slowly, we're gonna bring your knees and just bring it towards the right side. Yeah, so as we're having your knees on the right side, remember you can take any variations of the twist. If you have it in your own practice, turn the head towards the left side. Yeah, so if your hands are extended out, just keep the shoulders heavy and just get a comfortable release. Deep inhales and exhales for another 3, 2, and 1. Very, very slowly, you can join me as we hug your knees. Give yourself a nice hug of self-love. As we go on supporting people in our lives, working hard, sometimes we forget to bring it inwards. So this last 5 minutes, four and a half minutes will be for you. Yep. So join me as we give yourself a nice hug. Rock yourself left and right, up and down. Yeah, so you just massage the spine. Yeah, some of you might feel like, oh no, I'm preparing to sleep now. So what if I sleep? Nobody will know. But there's always a lucky draw, so just stay tuned for that. Okay, so now once you're ready, yep, you want to just let your legs release all the way towards the front. Yep. Those of you who are at home, you want a blanket, you can even put your blanket, put an eye mask, yep, and then just have your hands beside your hips. Just maybe take some small movements to adjust your clothes, palms, just spreading your fingers apart like me. And take a few deep inhales and exhales from your nose. The next part is for you to tune inwards. So listen to the sound and the sound of my breath and voice. Deep inhales from your nose. Deep exhales. From the last 40 minutes of practice, wherever tensions, tightness, or sensations which came to the surface just now. First of all, I would like you to be grateful for your body, for this experience today. Letting go of any physical tension. And just simply let all of this just slowly melt into the mat below yourself. Close your eyes and take a few deep inhales and deep exhales from your nose. Once you're melting into the mat today, sound of the breath in, just like waves of the ocean. And as you exhale, just take this time to release any tightness at all you're holding onto subconsciously. Let it go into the universe. The universe has plenty of space for you to hold and to hold all of these worries or troubles. Now, as we just take this moment, I want you to visualize yourself, maybe the 10 years old you in a distance. As you inhale and exhale, this person, the 10-year-old Brandon or 10-year-old, whoever you are, allow that person to just come into your mind's eye right now. And I want you to say 3 things in your mind right now to the 10 years old self. It could be advice for life, like don't be so worried, life will turn out well. Or you are beautiful, that's enough. You are enough. Or just keep doing and enjoying your childhood. A lot of us want to grow up fast at that 10 years old. So whatever it is right now, I would love to invite you to just give your inner child, that 10 years old you, 3 mindful words of advice. And as we just slowly come back to this space, allow yourself to, from whatever this space with your inner child, come back to your body, give your fingers and toes a little wriggle. And gently, we're just going to slowly hug your knees towards your chest and rock yourself left and right. Yeah, we're just going to let any tensions in your body just go. Now, once you're done, we're just going to slowly turn to your right side and join me very slowly in an upright position, seated in your mat or on your chair, wherever you are, and draw your shoulders back and down. A few deep breaths. Come back to that here and now, that sense of gratitude to yourself, that inner child, the people in your lives today. And join me as we bring our hands to heart center, thanking yourself for the practice and the rest of the friends online with us today for their practice, and closing this session with a very grateful bow of the head. Namaste. Thank you so much for having me. I'm going to pass the time back to Yvonne. And yeah, thank you for having me for this last 40 minutes.
Namaste. Thank you so much, Brendan. I think that session really settled us into a mindset where we can just relax, sometimes take a little time to think about what we are grateful for as women and for anyone in your life that you have crossed paths with. So thank you, Brendan, for the lovely session. And now I guess it is time for us to go into our lucky draw. And as mentioned at the start of the program, we do have 3 prizes up for grab. And our third prize is none other than a Sephora gift card worth $100. So let's bring on the wheels and let's find out who this lucky person is going to be. And it's spinning right now. And I want to say congratulations to Lynn. Soon, you are going to receive our Sephora gift card worth $100. Yay! And moving forward, remember, but before I go into our second prize, a gentle reminder for Lynn to please reply to our DM, as we will be contacting you to get your contact details so that we can arrange for the prize delivery. Thank you very much. Up next, second prize is none other than our Lululemon gift card worth $200. I bet we are all excited for this, and let's find out who the winner is going to be. And congratulations, Candy! Wow, your name is so sweet. And congratulations, you're gonna walk home with our Lululemon gift card worth $200. So remember to reply our DM, as our backend staff will be contacting you to get your details so that we can arrange for your prize delivery. So it's Candy Chu. Congratulations to you. And finally, our top prize of the day is none other than a couple spa paradise at Goodwood Park Orchard Hotel. And that is a 90 minutes couple spa paradise package that you can enjoy that is worth $328. So this prize is going to, let's find out. Congratulations, Vanessa! Wow, I guess all the ladies are in for a big treat today. So a reminder to all our winners of our draw, please remember to reply our backend team when they DM you so that we know who to contact so that we can arrange for the prize delivery. And remember, PFPFA will be contacting you within 2 weeks from our show date so that you can speak to them about your prize delivery and how you want it to be arranged. With that, we hope you have enjoyed the session as much as we did, whether it's the cooking segment or Dr. Martha segment, or even a relaxing segment from Brendan. Have a fruitful weekend ahead. My name is Evangeline signing out. Thank you so much for joining us. Goodbye.